Good evening, I'm Abhiday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli says the 2001 Royal Massacre's plot was prepared prior to the incident. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal says the Royal Massacre will be investigated. Probe committee to investigate the sale of shares of Ncell hands its report to the government. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal says implementation will be carried out after study. Israel says Paris talks on hostage deal constructive and will continue this week. Israeli Prime Minister's office confirms the four-way meeting between the US, Israel, Qatar and Egypt. And Nepal Police Club defeats Gandaki by 6 wickets to secure a spot in the Prime Minister Cup National Cricket Final. Tribhuvan Army thrashes Sudur Pashchim by 97 runs to keep its final hopes alive. CPN-UML chairperson and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has claimed that the plot of the Royal Massacre was prepared before the incident. Speaking during Kantipur Television's program, It's My Show, CPN-UML Chair Oli said after the People's Movement of 1990, a constitutional monarchy was established. However, the unimaginable Royal Massacre took place on 1st of June 2001. Oli said there was a massive conspiracy to destroy the monarchy. He claimed that the plot for the Royal Massacre was prepared beforehand and the film was released right after the shooting.
ठेगान लगाएका राजतन्त्रहरू संवैधानिक हुन्छन्, ठेगान लगाउन नसकेका राजतन्त्रहरू निरङ्कुश हुन्छन्। ठेगान लगाएको फेरि दरबार हत्याकाण्ड हो, कहाँ ठेगान लाग्ने मात्रै, त्यो त्यस्तो हत्याकाण्ड जघन्य अकल्पनीय कुरा हो नि त। यो सामान्य कुरा त होइन नि। राजाको वंशविनाश भयानक षड्यन्त्र हो। यो मोडर्न एराको भयानक र नाङ्गो षड्यन्त्र। नाङ्गो हाकाहाकी देखादेखि एउटा कथाको प्लट पहिलेदेखि तयार थियो, रेडिमेड। यता सुटिङ भयो, उता रिलिज।
Debates have started regarding the Royal Massacre once again after former King Gyanendra Shah said that political parties installed negative feelings in the minds of the Nepali people after the massacre. Meanwhile, speaking to reporters today in Simra Bara, Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal said the government will once again investigate the 2001 Royal Massacre.
पूर्व राजाले जे बोलेका छन्, बोल्नै नहुने कुरा बोलेका छन्। दरबार हत्याकाण्ड बारे फेरि एकचोटी छानबिनतिर सरकार अगाडि बढ्दै।
The probe committee to investigate the sale of shares of telecommunications service provider Ncell submitted its report to Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal today, saying that the sale was illegal and advised the government not to accept the agreement on the sale of shares. A meeting of the Council of Ministers held on 7th of December last month had formed a 5-member committee headed by former Auditor General Tankamani Sharma. The government formed the probe committee after questions were raised on the authority of Malaysian telecommunications company Axiata selling 80% of its shares to Spectralite company registered in the United Kingdom. On 1st of December, Axiata announced that it had entered into an unconditional sale and purchase agreement with Spectralite UK Limited for the sale of Reynolds Holding Limited, which owns approximately 80% equity stake in the Nepal-based Ncell Axiata Limited. Spectralite UK, registered in the United Kingdom in September this year, is owned by Satish Lal Acharya, a person of Nepali origin currently based in Singapore. Sunivera Capital Venture, owned by his wife Bhavna Singh Shrestha, has another 20% stake in Ncell. The buyout issue courted controversy as Nepal Telecommunications Authority was kept in the dark about the deal, even though the Telecommunications Regulation 1977 makes it mandatory for the licensed entity to get prior approval from Nepal Telecommunications Authority for the sale or purchase of more than 5% of the paid-up capital. In our Public Voice segment, today we have asked people in several provinces what should be done to smoothly operate industries with government investment. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
राजनीतिकरणबाट चाहिँ मुक्त राख्न सक्यो भने कर्मचारी नियुक्ति गर्दा त्यही उद्योगसँग सम्बन्धित विज्ञहरू मात्रै
नियुक्ति गर्नु पर्यो।
नीति निर्माण स्ट्रङ तरिकाले र भ्रष्टाचार न्यूनीकरण गरेको खण्डमा
Officials of the National Academy of Medical Sciences objected in bringing a bill to amend the law to separate Bir Hospital from the Academy. Speaking at the meeting of the Law, Justice and Human Rights Committee today, Vice Chancellor of the National Academy of Medical Sciences, Dr. Bhupendra Basnet, said that it was not right to separate Bir Hospital from the Academy as it has been providing quality medical education. To run any health science academy, it is mandatory to have its own hospital. Vice Chancellor Basnet said it is objectionable to separate Bir Hospital, which was made a part of the National Academy of Medical Sciences some 17 years ago. Dr. Basnet said if Bir Hospital is separated from the Academy, it will have a serious effect on the production of specialist doctors. It's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what's your take on Nepal Airlines Corporation spending billions to construct a new building despite reporting losses? 8% voted for A, no concern for improvement. 78% voted for B, commission game. And 14% voted for C, new building needed. And here's today's question. What should be done to encourage new entrepreneurs? Your options are A, implementation of government policies, B, special concessions on loans, and C, arrangement of skilled manpower. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. Israel says Paris talks on hostage deal were constructive and will continue this week. The Israeli Prime Minister's office confirmed that a four-way meeting between the U.S., Israel, Qatar, and Egypt took place in Europe to discuss a potential deal to free all Israeli hostages held by Hamas in exchange for a 2-month ceasefire. The Prime Minister's office called the discussions, which have been widely reported to be held in Paris, constructive. CIA Director Bill Burns discussed the contours of the emerging agreement in France with David Bernia, the head of the Mossad intelligence agency, Qatari Prime Minister Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani, and Egyptian intelligence chief Abbas Kamel. It is believed that 132 hostages abducted by Hamas on October 7 are still being held in Gaza. Two senior U.S. officials said American negotiators were making progress on the agreement. While the proposed deal would not end the war, U.S. officials are hopeful that such an agreement could lay the groundwork for a durable resolution to the conflict. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has appealed to governments that suspended funding for the UNRWA to guarantee the continuity of operations. A string of countries, including the U.S., Germany, and Britain, have paused funding to the aid agency in the wake of allegations that 12 UNRWA staff were involved in the October 7 attacks by Hamas in southern Israel. A spokesperson for the agency said if the funding is not resumed, UNRWA will not be able to continue its services and operations across the region, including in Gaza, beyond the end of February. Japan's moon lander has resumed operations after being shut for a week due to a power supply issue. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency said it re-established contact with the lander last night, indicating that the glitch had been fixed. The agency said its solar cells are working again after a shift in lighting conditions allowed it to catch sunlight. It could not generate power when it landed on 20th of January as the solar cells pointed away from the sun. With the smart lander for investigating Moon Slim spacecraft, Japan became only the 5th country to achieve a soft touchdown on the moon after the US, the former Soviet Union, China, and India. The spacecraft ran on battery power for several hours before authorities decided to turn it off to allow for a possible recovery of electricity when the angle of sunlight changed. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Jaha shared a photograph taken by Slim of a nearby rock that it nicknamed a toy poodle. Jaha said the lander will analyze the composition of rocks in its search for clues about the origin of the moon. Slim landed at the edge of an equatorial crater known as Shioli, within 55 meters of its target in a crater. Jaha described it as an unprecedented pinpoint landing. The agency said the landing technology could allow future exploration of hilly moon poles seen as a potential sources of fuel, water, and oxygen. French farmers are moving hundreds of tractors into place as a blockade of major roads termed the Siege of Paris gets underway. Similar demonstrations are taking place across the country as part of continuing protests against falling incomes, rising bureaucracy, and competition from imports. Protests are also being held in Belgium and Germany, where tractors are blocking routes leading to Hamburg's port area. The French authorities say 15,000 police have been mobilized to prevent tractors from entering Paris and other large cities. Farmers say their aim is to stop food deliveries to supermarkets. So far, the police have not intervened to remove roadblocks anywhere else in the country.
Sports news.
Nepal Police Club secured a spot in the Prime Minister Cup National Cricket Final after defeating Gandaki Province by 6 wickets today. In the match played at the capital's Mulpani ground, Gandaki Province batted first after losing the toss and were bowled out in 38.3 overs for a below-par total of 170 runs. Amrit Gurung, with a quick-fire 50 off 39 balls, was the leading run scorer for Gandaki, hitting 2 sixes and 8 fours. Karan Pangini and Kamal Pariyar also added 30 runs each, while opener Samir Karnel chipped in 29 runs. Rashid Khan was the pick of the Nepal Police bowlers, grabbing 5 wickets. Chasing a victory target of 171 runs, Nepal Police romped home in 24.2 overs, losing 4 wickets. Opener Dilip Nath top scored for the police team with a quick-fire 57 off 39 balls, smashing 4 sixes and 6 fours. Arjun Saud also contributed an unbeaten 44 to the Nepal Police total, while Arif Sikh also added 27 runs off 22 balls and remained not out. Sandeep Parajuli with 2 wickets was the leading wicket taker for Gandaki. Undefeated Nepal Police Club lead the points table with 14 points from 7 matches, while Gandaki are in the 8th spot with 4 points from 8 matches. In another Prime Minister Cup National Cricket match played today, Tribhuvan Army Club thrashed Sudur Paschim Province by 97 runs to keep their hopes alive to reach the title decider. In the match played at the Tribhuvan University Cricket Ground in Kantipur, Tribhuvan Army elected to bat first and were bowled out in 48.3 overs for 262 runs. Kushal Malla top scored for Tribhuvan Army with a quick-fire 75 off 67 balls and smashing 3 sixes and 10 fours. Sandeep Rajali also scored 37 runs off 31 balls, and Bashir Ahmad added 36. Bhoj Raj Bhatta was the leading wicket taker for Sudur Paschim with 6 wickets. Chasing a victory target of 263 runs, Sudur Paschim were bowled out in 40.1 overs for a paltry score of 165 runs. Kiran Thagunna with 68 runs was the leading run scorer for Sudur Paschim. Jitendra Mukhia was the pick of the Tribhuvan Army bowlers, grabbing 5 wickets. With the win, Tribhuvan Army Club climbed to the 2nd spot of the points table with 12 points from 8 matches. Sudur Paschim Province are in the 6th position with 8 points from 7 matches. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.